Thank you for tuning in to Koppen with Comic. I'm Brian Koppen. We're here with comic Barak Ziv. Barak Ziv, how the hell are you?
I'm good, man. It's cool to be here.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for coming in. And where could people normally see you do stand-up comedy in New York City? Where can they find you do stand-up comedy when it opens up again? And what are you doing in the meantime as far as, online, Instagram Live or Zoom or just via your social?
So I used to produce my own show called Just Kidding with Carlos
Yeah.
Garcia. It was a
Oh,
fun thing.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
big
awesome.
fan of Carlos Garcia. It sounds like you guys have some big names on there, and
Yeah,
it's great. And that was out of QED, right?
yeah, that was a QED, which said that it's closed right now, like a lot of places. I
Yeah.
donated money to that place because I
Oh,
love it.
cool.
It's a great home for us. Yeah,
Oh, good. Yeah, I did my podcast there when I was in person, and I look forward to doing it again in the fall.
yeah, totally.
And
Yeah,
then on
sorry.
social, you're Barak Ziv across all social platforms or your own website.
I do Barak Ziv comedy. That's Barak, not CK like Barack Obama, but Barak Ziv comedy on Instagram and Barak Ziv on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that.
Okay, and I see a website here that says bzwork.com. Is that just the work?
Yeah, that's the work website. I
Okay.
do graphics, animation. So yeah, that's my job.
Yeah, so if any comedian has like a special or something and they want you to handle the intro and the credits and stuff like that and have them, be animated, you could do that pretty easily.
I'm really good at that stuff. Yeah, been doing it
Oh,
for a
good.
while.
Oh, good. But and then are you doing any kind of, I know Just Kidding is going to wait to start up, I think, until it's, able to do so live and safely at QED or whatever. In the meantime, what are you kind of doing to get your comedy stuff out there? Are you doing Instagram Live or Zoom shows like you and Carlos at all or no?
Haven't done those, but me and Carlos do write a lot, and we run a lot of jokes by each other. We do workshops, and we start releasing a few sketches, just kind of like joke about different things. So, released a really funny one where he interviews me. The idea is that we're both foreigners. He's from Venezuela. I'm Israeli, so he
Yeah.
asked me a question about Israel, and then I asked him a question about his country and culture. So we did a couple of funny one of those, and they're coming out actually last weekend this week.
Oh, good. And they can find that on your social or BZ Work, or are you on Instagram as well?
On Instagram and on Carlos's Instagram, which is Carlos Does the World, and yeah.
Okay, good. And then so is that going to be kind of a regular thing that will be released weekly, or is it just kind of a one-time thing?
On and off, we're gonna think about some sketches and record them. He's really great at doing Trump, so we're gonna do a couple
Yes.
of those. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, have you been able to kind of impersonate any of the Israeli leaders when it comes to interacting with his Trump character?
No, but I'm actually thinking about it right now. What kind of a character I would do if I would be an Israeli interviewing Trump? I'm thinking about a politician or maybe a news reporter or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the national origin of the reporter who threw a shoe at George Bush? Do you
You know
remember?
what?
Was
I
that could have been
haven't.
like Pakistani or Afghanistan? I have no, Afghani. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think it was like that. I don't think it was from anybody from my country, and that was a while ago, right?
But Carlos doesn't have to know that. You could just throw a shoe at him.
Oh yeah, I'll throw a virtual shoe at him. I'll make an animation of a shoe landing on Trump's head.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you could each film it from your own angle. He has to have somebody off camera throw a shoe at him. I love it. But it sounds like your comedy. Like I know that before you did stand up, I know you do graphic design and things like that. But I'm kind of interested in how you got into comedy. When was that in relation to you coming over from Israel? I think you were there till your 20s. Was there anything that you were able to do in Israel with respect to comedy?
Honestly, comedy was something that's kind of relatively new to me. I wasn't planning on I always enjoyed comedy. I love stand-up comedy,
Yeah,
local acts and American acts.
yeah.
It wasn't back in my youth, but a couple of years ago, I found myself in a really tough spot mentally, physically, and I was looking for an outlet, looking for things, and I was like one-liners and quips and puns, and I figured, hey, you know what? I love it. I can do my own personal. I had to look for a different passion, and I thought, hey, I wanna make people laugh by saying silly things and funny
And then,
things.
yeah, and then at what point, like kind of during the process, open mics or bar shows or whatever, did you run into Carlos Garcia, and what did you recognize in him that kind of made you guys good collaborative partners?
He saw. I mean, he's trying to remember. I think I would run into him or know people who know him, but we did one mic, which was really good. It was almost like a show. It was called Peer Pressure, and it
Oh,
was
cool.
great. And much more. And I know the stars aligned, and my set was great, and he liked my work and said, "Hey, let's." That's actually the set that I realized that was one of the set that defined my tight five. It was the first time I felt like I had a perfect tight five,
Oh, good.
and yeah, and he liked it, and he said, "Hey, I want to have you on my show," because he was running a show on Broadway Comedy Club, and
Oh,
from
nice.
there we started like we're like just talking about producing a show, and just kind of working together on different ideas, and yeah, and he's great. He's doing a lot of things. He does acting, he does sketch writing. He's a great sketch editor, and we started joking about, hey, we both foreigners, we both have that experience of
Yeah.
living in the States from different countries. Let's do something about it. And I said, sure, and yeah.
But I love the fact, like, having a tight five in and of itself is nice because you're ready for any show that kind of brings you on. But
Yeah,
the better thing is you have no idea who's in the audience, who you might be able to collaborate with. And if you're not bringing the tight five, is another funny person going to see you as funny? And so it's so nice to know that a lot of the stuff in New York City is peer to peer,
yeah,
where, talent, game recognizes game, talent recognizes talent, and having that tight five was just part of the one piece of the puzzle that led you on to collaborate with other people. And
yeah, totally.
how'd you kind of get that tight five? Was it going around to open mics here in New York City?
Yeah, so it's a combination of different things. Like I thought what I had was a tight five like a year or two before I had that thing. And that's not something you realize. The thing that you thought were great or just good, and
That's funny.
things always sound great in shows, and I did a couple of small shows and I thought, hey, that was great. And then you listen to it later, and half of it, the audience is not laughing. So,
Wow.
yeah. So, what I thought
You
was,
record your sets as you're doing them.
yeah, so I try to record my sets pretty much every time, and I listen to them later, and I try to remember what worked and whatnot. And the tough part is not to listen to the sets that work well, but to listen to the sets when you messed up, they weren't good, that you bombed, and just kind of it's cringing. But if you can push through it, you realize, you know what, I'm gonna take this one line that worked here and put it somewhere else. And yeah, my tight five that back then was a combination of a bunch of different things that I thought worked and took the best out of those and made it into that. Yeah.
And kind of what was the idea behind Just Kidding? Like, what did you look for in the comics that you guys booked? And what do if I go to a Just Kidding show when QED opens back up, what can I expect?
You can expect first thing first, a variety of comics. So New York City is great at that because there is a large pool of comics from different backgrounds, and we put a big emphasis that every show should have the foreigners or local and people from out of town or just people have different background, different ethnicities, orientation, whatever it is. We try to make it as diverse as possible because I think that makes for a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we will bring somebody who's more of a storyteller and more of a one-liner, or like just some acts are just completely unique. Some actors we like that are more musical based, and we try to get like a really good a salad of great comics kind of thing.
So you guys are having musical comics too?
Yeah, as well. There's a guy I really like named Ben Pernick. He does a lot of funny songs, and yeah, I brought him, and Carlos brought a female comic. I'm sorry I forgot her name, but she was great, and she did this funny song as well. We want to make it diverse and weird and quirky, and yeah.
Yeah. And how long has that show been going on?
Been going on for 3-4 months, and again, as soon as like the COVID started, we were so sad because we had all these plans, we had these comics booked, and the
Yes.
comics are cool. They know that things are happening right now, and they're all understanding, but it kind of breaks your heart a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Aside
Yeah.
from awful, obviously, the horrible problems that are happening in the world. Aside from that, it kind of
Yeah, it's just kind of one more thing to be bummed about. You're one thing that, it's just kind of a passion that you have. You're not able to go do it, but you're also not able to work with all the comedians that you had scheduled. I kind of
yeah,
did the same thing with the podcast. You're like, dude, I just had to cancel 30 comics because
yeah,
they wouldn't even, New York wouldn't let these people get on the train because it was inessential. It's like, my Lord. I mean, yeah, so many worse things are going on, but it's going to be nice when people can kind of, I don't know, at least have a socially distanced a version of Just Kidding and other great comedy shows at QED. But it
yeah, yeah,
sounds like because you're a fan of comedy and you kind of got into it because it sounds like you were having certain things in your life that were, left something to be desired. You're like, man, I'm really into comedy. Let me try this thing. And it kind of led you to where you're at. It led you to the tight 5 minutes. It led you to your own comedy show. But it also sounds like, we were talking before the podcast about your current relationship has you guys exchanging bits. Like it sounds like it's something I would love to do where, a significant other is actually able to, have a sense of humor, to take it and throw it back at you. I mean, what's kind of the dynamic, that you enjoy in a relationship that had you looking for a sense of humor? Did you know that you wanted to, date somebody who might not be a comic, but at least has a sense of humor where you can enjoy comedy together?
Well, that wasn't my plan. Wasn't on that. It wasn't on the. It wasn't on the Tinder profile. Must love comedy and stand up and
Oh,
and be patient of my awful puns. That wasn't the deal. But
oh,
I'm very lucky that my girlfriend, the girlfriend I met, we've been together for 2 years now. She's quirky. She's funny. We keep like running bits with each other, and half our conversations are, oh, this could be a bit. This could be a bit.
oh, I love it.
And I keep telling her she should try to do comedy. I mean, she's an
Yeah.
introvert, but she's hilarious, and she has this quirky sense of humor. So it's been fun. It's been fun just to run jokes by her and hear her takes on them. And she's actually the one who gave us the name Just Kidding.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I told her we're looking for names, and that was her name. Yeah.
Well, I myself am an introvert who loves comedy, and I found that you have to like the process. And so, unless you're prepared to do the hustling thing and go around to all the open mics and do the bar shows and things like that, like it might not be something that you'll want to sustain. But maybe she'll be the next podcaster who interviews all the comedians like I'm doing right now because it scratches that itch because I get to talk.
Nobody can top you. Nobody can top you, man. This is an awesome podcast. I love the faces I saw there, man.
Oh,
Shit you not.
it's so funny to talk to you comedians all day long. Like I'm like a pig in shit, just like being able to talk to you funny people. And I guess the clarification I wanted was, were you just kidding that it was in one of your Tinder profiles? Because that's hilarious. That you must love comedy, etc. Was it in there or no?
No, that wasn't in there. But
That's funny.
I did wrote quips and puns, and I wrote something stupid about myself, and
Yeah.
made a word play and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, good, good. And so if she did not like comedy, she might have swiped the other direction.
Probably, yeah. But her profile said she was a nerd, and me being a nerd, I think it kind of worked well with each other.
Oh, I love that. And so as far as kind of what stuff you're exploring in your act, it sounds like some of the, we talked before, being fans of things like, Steven Ryder, Anthony Jeselnik, like what are some of the, like if I were to see a joke on paper, and what about that joke would make me think this is a Barak Ziv joke? Like, do you aim to be short and pithy? Do you aim to be dark? Like, what can I expect from a Barak Ziv joke? Like, how do you know what's going to make that tight five if it doesn't smack of Barak Ziv?
I think some of it is the wit. Usually, I mean, there will be like like an unexpected line there. It starts as one. I mean, the essence of most jokes is to take you in one direction, then throw a curveball. But
Yeah.
180 one of those. But usually will involve either like a pun or unexpected wordplay. I wasn't honestly planning on making them dark.
Yeah.
But I noticed that a lot of the times I would write a bunch of jokes and try them on stage like every comedian, and some of the ones that hit the best and the hardest were the dark ones. And I realized, hey, I tried a bunch of different ones. Some are silly, some are goofy, some are puns, some are dark, and the dark ones tend to stick. Yeah.
Dude, they love their Dark Lord Barak Ziv. That's hilarious. And I wonder what it is about you. Like, maybe, maybe it's having accented English. It's, you're perfectly well spoken, but maybe it's like you come off as a dark line from accented English can kind of sound like you're a bad guy in Die Hard or something.
Yeah, I would love to be a Hans Gruber kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I love Hans Gruber.
And maybe that's what you and Carlos Garcia can do. Like he can be a Trump character, and you could be the evil genius who's plotting to take him down. That could be funny too.
I'm gonna tell him that. I mean, the first sketch we did, we were playing more to like the clueless Israeli kind of a thing, where I was speaking with a really hard accent, and I try to tell about my culture, but I make all this mistake in the talk. But, the conversation is strangely at times. But it's fun. It's fun to explore those characters.
Go in the other direction and just be the dark warlord, where you speak perfectly well. You're totally just you have this perfect plot to take down Trump, and it could go spectacularly bad. But I would love to hear that coming out of your mouth. So it's nice to hear that the audiences are like, I really buy him as a dark presence in my life. And is that affecting the way you're writing? Like, are you trying to write darker stuff, or you, I mean, I guess you want to remain true to yourself, but you also want to make sure that, you are putting enough dark stuff in your set so that you're getting consistent laughs, if only so that, you can slip a B joke among all the A jokes, so you can try stuff out. Like if they're laughing like crazy at the dark stuff, then you could slip in a light joke to see if it even works.
Yeah, I guess that's the challenge because you kind of want to squeeze in some of the light stuff, and I have some light stuff that works. So sometimes you make a joke that's for yourself because you just really like it and you want to make it stick no matter what. And I find a healthy balance, and I think more about building the story of like a one-liners that lead from one to another kind of a thing, and worry about that more than whether it's dark or not. And as long as it's kind of like easy to one lead to another, then the audience can kind of join with you. But yeah, I definitely don't tell dark for the sake of dark. It's just whatever comes to my head, and if it's dark, it's dark. If it's funny, that's the most important thing.
And is some of this stuff observational, or is it kind of autobiographical? Like, and if it's autobiographical, is there anything from your life in Israel that you've been exploring on stage?
Not in what I have so far, but I am trying to work out more material on that. I'm trying to I'm writing new material that I want to explore that more. I haven't done it so far, but I think it'll be interesting. I told my friend a story about my first job in New York as a sex store, working in a sex store. A lot of Israelis used to work in sex stores, and
really?
I told my friend, he was cracking up, and he asked me, "How is not that part of your material?" And I
said, yes. I love the fact that your friends are really helpful in that regard if they're telling you what's funny, because other comedians might not. They're so focused on their own stuff, they're not willing to tell you that, oh no, this is good, this is not so good, because maybe it's a competition or whatever.
That's true.
Really, like there's certain jokes that you can tell that other people can't tell, and vice versa, because everybody's persona is a little different. But I love the fact that you worked at a sex store. Seriously.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. We actually incorporated into that sketch that me and Carlos did about the Israeli. Yeah, so we included a little bit of that. Yeah, it's a weird job.
When you said there's a number of Israelis who work at sex stores. Are you talking about in Israel or in New York City?
No, in New York City. A couple of years ago, not now I think, but when I came to New York City, there are a couple of them own them, and when you look for work and you through the grapevine. So my brother hooked me up with work. Like he knew somebody and he worked in one, so he hooked me up with one. And
I love that. Why do you think that is? I mean, why did they develop why is there such a strong Israeli network in New York City when it comes to sex stores?
I don't think it's sex store specific. I think it's more of an entrepreneurship kind of a mind where it's like it was weird when I first got here and I realized that half the moving companies are owned by Israelis and half the locksmith companies and half the window cleaning or the vacuum dust, the carpet. You realize there's weird industries that a lot of Israelis are doing. I think it's the entrepreneurship thing, which I'm not part of. I never like a big entrepreneur, but
it sounds like you're doing that for graphic design and comedy. You got the hustle that led you to the Type 5, etc., but also for work. Like, are you working for a company or is it kind of entrepreneurship when it comes to graphic design?
Now I work for a company. I used to be a freelancer for a while, and again, this art is my passion, and whether it's visual art or comedy art and stuff like that. But I need, I want some stability, something I can work with while pursuing comedy, and I found this cool place, nice people, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
And you're able to do that, post-virus. This is something that's easy to do via remote.
Yeah.
You can do that job from home or whatever.
I'm grateful for that. I'm still employed, and this is a weird times, and a lot of people, especially comedians, are having it really tough. So I'm just counting my blessings for real.
Oh, good. And so then when they, Just Kidding starts up, you'll be at QED, and then how often was that? Was that every month?
Yeah, on third Thursday of every month, and that's it. We will publish it. We'll do graphics. We'll promote the hell out of it, and bring good comics, and want to make the show as fun as possible.
Was that your font for Just Kidding? I like that font.
Yeah. I built everything for all the graphics. Everything we did for Just Kidding, that's on me. Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. You and Carlos Garcia, you guys can run a show, man. You guys got a good set of talents, and I'm so happy to talk to you both, and I'll look forward to hopefully seeing you guys' show when you return to QED.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Barak Ziv, thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Take care.